The country that will say we have reached herd immunity first is the country that is going to reap this pent-up tourism demand. Thirdly, we said we must reduce the total government debt. We must fix our more than 740 state-owned enterprises and state-owned companies and increase our infrastructure spend. The Minister of Finance was really very categorical, very explicit about the programs. And then lastly, we've been talking again for 10 years about the spectrum auction and digital migration. 5 ministers later, we have lost faith. We have been underwhelming about talking about it. At this rate, our SACU partners, Botswana, Lesotho, Namibia, and Eswatini, will be on 6G, will still be languishing at 4G. Our BRICS counterpart in terms of vaccine doses already administered. On the 27th of January, Brazil was already on 579,000. Russia was on 800,000. India on 2 million. China on 15 million already. The government owns since 2003 a stake in BioVac, a biopharmaceutical company based in Cape Town. When I grew up, Lennon's was owned by government, the modern day Aspen Pharmaceuticals. So the president sets us a herd immunity target of 67%. This is 40 million South Africans out of 60. Depending on the choice of the vaccine, if it's double dose, that's 80 million doses. We are at the moment, everything that we have procured and scheduled to be delivered, 1.6 million doses short. That's 100,000 per day. In a week, we haven't even reached 100,000. The cost is 20 billion, of course, depending on the type, on the foreign exchange, the cargo insurance, on the dose, whether it's imported or it's made locally. If you look at the other business partners and social partners that could help, 2018, only 16.4% of the population of South Africa belong to medical aid. The medical schemes in total have a total maximum liability of 7 billion. That's 2% of all premiums. So if you say to the mines, vaccinate your own people, and you say so to agriculture, and you say so to financial services, they can do this within a month. And I think we need to take it with that risk that it is indeed intended. South Africa has always been helped by global events. At the moment, the people that are exporting have benefited from both the increased dollar terms, commodity prices, but also by the pent-up demand. Some of the logistics and the supply chain that we normally get when the ships go to US of A, offload, and then come to Africa, didn't even do that because they were stuck in the US of A. When the demand came up, they offloaded there. They didn't even have come to Africa. They went straight to reload in China, which says, actually, in global terms, we are a spit in the bucket, less than 1% of the global turnover, until and unless we send a message that says we are open for business, we will never be able to take ourselves seriously. And as a result, the investors and the analysts will never be able to take us seriously. When you look at how we've been helped, iron ore prices went up 53%, gold 48%. When you look at coal, it probably went up 28%, and 25% other commodities. All of this made sure that South African Revenue Services track ahead of their own budget. We were estimating 313 billion shortfall. We revised that to between 240 to 280 billion. Now we are talking about probably less than 200 billion a shortfall because we are doing so well. But I think our needs are 1,001, and yet our means ability to pay is severely constrained. So we have to address things like the public sector wage bill. We have to go back and say, what are the 3 or 4 things, like the president has led the way, not the 30 things that needs to be done. And then lastly, I think we need to make the NDP 2030 our overriding economic vision, because without that strategy, that correctly diagnoses the 9 things that we must do, I think we'll still be sucking the hind teeth.